The alarm broke the silence on the bridge of the Taeguk Pioneer. Captain Dae-sung looked up from his reports as the sound filled the room. He was a tall man with short black hair and calm eyes that had seen many years in space. His uniform was neat and simple, marked with the symbols of Earth's exploration fleet. "What is that?" he asked, standing from his chair. Tae-ho, the ship's engineer, worked quickly at his station. His fingers moved over the glowing screens. "It's a distress signal, Captain. Coming from about 2 light-years away. The computer is trying to translate it now." We. Dae-sung walked closer to look at the data. The signal was weak, but steady. It carried a pattern that the ship's systems recognized as intelligent communication. After a few seconds, words began to appear on the screen. They were rough and broken, but readable. "Help us. Creatures attacking. Many dead. Cannot stop them. Oxygen. Atmosphere. Heavy gravity. Please help." The message repeated over and over. Behind the words, they could hear sounds, high-pitched noises that might have been screaming, crashes, and bangs, then silence for a moment before the message started again. "Get everyone to the bridge," Dae-sung said. His voice was steady but serious. Within minutes, the rest of the crew arrived. Dr. Heijin came first. She was a xenobiologist, which meant she studied alien life. She was shorter than the captain, with long black hair tied back in a simple tail. Her eyes were bright with curiosity, even though the situation was serious. Ji-woo arrived next. She was the security officer, a woman with strong shoulders and quick movements. She had been in Earth's Special Forces before joining the exploration fleet. Her hand rested naturally near her weapon belt. Bo-ra, the ship's diplomat, came last. She wore softer clothes than the others and moved with grace. Her job was to talk to new species and make friends, not enemies. She looked worried as she listened to the distress signal. "What species sent this?" Bo-ra asked. Heijin checked her tablet. "The computer matches it to the Velans. They're a trading species. We have basic information about them in our database. They're peaceful. They've never been in any wars that we know about." "What's attacking them?" Ji-woo asked. Her voice was all business. Tae-ho pulled up more information. "They mention creatures. The translation calls them massive predators. They say the predators have razor claws and crushing jaws. According to their measurements." He stopped and looked, confused. "That can't be right." "What?" Dae-sung stepped closer. "According to their measurements, these massive predators are about 40 centimeters long. That's about the size of a house cat back on Earth." The bridge went quiet. Everyone looked at each other. "Maybe the translation is wrong," Bo-ra suggested. Heijin shook her head. "No. Look at this." They also describe the environment. They say the atmosphere is toxic with too much oxygen. They say the gravity is crushing at 0.7 standard G. That's less gravity than Earth. Understanding slowly spread across everyone's faces. "They're not like us," Ji-woo said quietly. Dae-sung nodded. "We need more information. Can we open a channel to them?" Tae-ho worked at his controls. After a minute, he shook his head. "The signal is one way only. It's just a repeating distress call. They might not even know we received it. See, after. Alders lever. 124 teen 60 "Show me where they are," Dae-sung ordered. A star map appeared in the air above the center of the bridge. A red dot blinked in the darkness. It was 2 light-years away, which was far but not impossible to reach. "How long to get there?" the captain asked. "At maximum speed, about 48 hours, Tae-ho answered. Bo-ra stepped forward. "Captain, we should think about this carefully. They specifically warn in their message that the environment is dangerous. They tell anyone who receives the message to stay away for their own safety. They don't know who we are," Heijin said. Her voice had excitement in it. "They don't know where we come from. If their measurements are correct, what's deadly to them is normal to us. We might be the only ones who can help them. Jiwoo crossed her arms. Or we might be walking into a trap. We don't know what's really happening there. Dae-sung stood still, thinking. He looked at each member of his crew. Then he looked at the star map. At the blinking red dot that represented aliens dying in space. We're explorers, he said finally. Our mission is to find new life and help when we can. Yes, it might be dangerous, but those are real people dying right now. If we can help them, we must try. He turned to Taeho. Set course for their location. Maximum speed. Everyone else, prepare. Jiwoo, get the security team ready. Bring weapons, but keep them hidden. We don't want to scare anyone more than necessary. Hey Jin, study everything we know about the Velens. I want to know what we're dealing with. Bo-ra, prepare first contact protocols. We might be meeting a new species while saving their lives. And if the danger is real? Bo-ra asked. If these creatures can hurt us too? Dae-sung smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had faced danger many times before. Then we'll deal with it. We're humans. We came from Earth. Our whole planet tried to kill us for millions of years, and we're still here. I think we can handle whatever scared the Velens. The crew moved to their stations. The ship's engines began to hum louder as they prepared for high-speed travel. Dae-sung sat back in his captain's chair and watched the stars ahead. He didn't say it out loud, but a thought occurred to him. The Velens had no idea what they had called for help. They didn't know that humans came from a world of storms and predators, of high gravity and dangerous air. They didn't know that humans had climbed to the top of the food chain on one of the deadliest planets in the galaxy. The Velens were afraid of small creatures with claws. What would they think when they met the humans? What would they think when they saw true predators, the kind that Earth had created? 47 hours until we arrive, Taeho announced. Dae-sung nodded. Good. Everyone get some rest when you can. We don't know what we'll find when we get there. The Taeguk pioneer jumped to faster than light speed. Behind them, Earth was far away. Ahead of them, aliens were dying, crying out for help that they thought would never come. But help was coming. Help was coming in a form they never expected. Help was coming from a death world, carried by Deathworlders who didn't even know that's what they were. The distress signal continued to repeat in the darkness of space, and the humans raced toward it. The Taeguk pioneer dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a small blue and green planet. In orbit around the planet floated a ship unlike anything the humans had seen before. It was beautiful in a strange way. The hull seemed to be made of something that looked like crystal or glass. It caught the light from the nearby star and scattered it into rainbow colors. The ship was large but delicate-looking, like a piece of art floating in space. There it is, Taeho said from his station. The Gentle Drift. That's what our computer translates their ship name as. Dae-sung studied the vessel on the main screen. Any signs of damage? Some. Small holes in the outer hull. Looks like something broke through from the inside, not outside. Life support is failing in several sections. Taeho paused. Captain, I'm picking up life signs. 42 Velens still alive. But the number keeps dropping. We just lost another one. Hae-jin looked up from her tablet. Her face was pale. We need to hurry. Ji-woo, is your team ready? Dae-sung asked. The security officer nodded. She wore light armor that looked simple, but was actually very advanced. Her team of 4 other security members stood behind her. Ready, Captain. We have weapons, but they're set to stun only. We also brought nets and cages. Good. Dae-sung stood. He wore an environmental suit like the others. It was light gray and fit close to his body. To the humans, it was just basic protective gear. Bo-ra, Sun-ho, you're with me. Everyone remember, these aliens are much more fragile than us. Move carefully. Don't touch anything, unless you have to. Sun-ho adjusted the medical kit on his back. He was the ship's medic. A quiet man, with gentle hands and kind eyes. I've studied their biology from our database. Their bones are thin. Their skin is delicate. Even a normal handshake from us could hurt them. I. Just the scarred. I. Bo-Ra checked her translation device. They're dying, Dae-sung said simply. They'll take help from anyone at this point. Dayam. The boarding shuttle detached from the Taeguk Pioneer. It was small and fast. Ji-woo piloted it carefully toward the Velen ship. As they got closer, they could see the damage more clearly. Several windows were cracked. Scorch marks showed where systems had overloaded. There's an airlock still working on the port side, Ji-woo reported. Sending our docking request now. They waited. Seconds passed. Then a minute. Just when they thought no one would answer, the airlock opened. Here we go, Dae-sung said. The shuttle connected with a soft thump. The humans stood and prepared to enter. Ji-woo opened the door first, checking for danger. The airlock was empty. Beyond it was a corridor that looked like the inside of a crystal cave. The walls were smooth and slightly transparent. Soft blue light came from somewhere inside them. Beautiful, Heijin whispered. They moved forward. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, which made walking feel strange. The air was cool and smelled like flowers. Though the humans couldn't identify which kind, a sound came from ahead. It was high-pitched and musical, like wind chimes. Then shapes appeared around the corner. The Velens were small. The tallest one came up to Dae-sung's chest. They walked on 4 thin legs that looked almost like insect legs. Their bodies were covered in what looked like crystal plates that shifted color as they moved. They had no faces as humans would understand them. Instead, their heads had many small holes that vibrated to make sounds. 4 arms extended from their upper bodies, each ending in delicate fingers. The lead Velen stopped suddenly. All its crystal plates turned from blue to bright red. The sound it made became sharp and loud. Wait! Bo-Ra stepped forward with her hands raised. Her translation device began to work, turning her words into musical tones. We're here to help. We received your distress call. The Velen made more sounds. The translator turned them into words. Predators. More predators. How did you board our ship? Your species is unknown. You are too large. Your eyes face forward. Your teeth are exposed. Dae-sung realized the Velen was terrified of them. He slowly knelt down, making himself smaller. The others did the same except for Ji-woo, who kept watch. We're not predators, Dae-sung said slowly. We're humans. We're from a planet called Earth. We came to help you. Another Velen appeared. This one's crystal plates were darker, showing marks that might have been scars or age. The translator identified this one as Whistling Bell, the ship's captain. You came from the toxic atmosphere planet? Whistling Bell's sounds were calmer but still showed fear. The gravity there would crush us. The oxygen levels would burn our tissues. How do you survive such a place? We evolved there, Heijin explained gently. It's our home. What's dangerous to you is normal to us. Please, let us help. We can stop the creatures that are attacking you. Whistling Bell made a sound like breaking glass. It might have been laughter or crying. The apex predators? You would die like we are dying. They are too strong. Too fast. They have already killed 47 of our people. Show us, Dae-sung said. The Velens led them deeper into the ship. More Velens appeared in doorways, all turning red when they saw the humans. Some made frightened sounds and ran away. Others watched from a distance. Trembling, they reached a large room with windows looking out at space. In the center of the room was a cage. The door was broken open. Inside the cage were small, furry creatures. Ji-woo looked at them. Then she looked at the others. Are they serious? The creatures were about the size of cats. They had soft brown fur and long tails. Their faces were cute with big eyes. They had small claws and teeth. but nothing that looked dangerous to humans. As the team watched, one of the creatures yawned and curled up to sleep. "These are the apex predators?" Sunho asked quietly. Whistling Bell made sounds full of confusion. "You do not show fear?" "These beasts have claws that can pierce our strongest materials. Their teeth carry bacteria deadly to our biology. They move at speeds we cannot match. They hunt in packs." Daesung walked closer to the cage. One of the creatures woke up and looked at him. It made a soft, chirping sound. Slowly, carefully, Daesung reached out and picked it up. All the Velans made sounds of pure terror. Several ran from the room. Whistling Bell's crystal plates turned completely white. The creature in Daesung's hands squirmed a little, then settled. It made a sound like purring. Daesung held it easily, stroking its soft fur. "It's friendly," he said. "It's not trying to hurt me." "Put it down before it strikes," Whistling Bell begged. Instead, Daesung handed it to Heijin. She examined it with professional interest. "It's a young specimen, probably scared and hungry. These creatures aren't apex predators. On Earth, they would be prey animals. Many things would hunt them." Jiwoo laughed. It was a short, sharp sound that made all the Velans flinch. "Captain, back home I had a pet bigger than this. My grandmother had 3. They lived in her house and played with the children." Whistling Bell made sounds that the translator struggled with. Finally, it said, "You keep death creatures as companions? For enjoyment?" "Where we come from," Daesung said carefully, "these would not be considered dangerous. I'm sorry. I know this is hard to understand. But to us, these are small and harmless. We can remove them from your ship very easily." "There are 30 of them loose in the ship," Whistling Bell said. "They hide in the walls. They attack anyone who tries to enter certain sections. They have killed so many." Bora spoke gently. "How did they get loose?" "Road. Life support failure. The containment area lost power. The doors opened. We could not stop them. We are not built for such confrontations. We have no natural defenses against predators." Sunho stepped forward. "Take me to your wounded. I can help them, while the security team catches these creatures." "You have wounded too?" Whistling Bell asked. "No," Sunho said, confused. "I mean, I can help your wounded, but they are not your species. Why would you help?" The humans looked at each other. The question seemed strange to them. "Because they need help," Sunho said simply. Whistling Bell's crystal plates shifted through several colors. The sound it made was soft and wondering. "You are very strange creatures. But yes, please help. Follow me." As they moved through the ship, Daesung spoke into his communicator. "Jiwoo, take your team and start gathering these creatures. Be careful not to hurt them. They're probably just scared and hungry." "Understood, Captain," Jiwoo replied. Through the communicator, they could hear her talking to her team. "Okay, everyone. This is basically pest control. Treat them like you would rats in a warehouse. Gentle hands, quick movements. Don't let them bite you, not because they're dangerous, but because we don't want to explain to medical why we got bit by space hamsters." Someone on her team laughed. The sound made all the nearby Velans turn red and huddle together. Daesung realized something important. The Velans weren't just afraid of the creatures. They were starting to become afraid of the humans too. And maybe, he thought, they had good reason to be. Jiwoo moved through the crystal corridors of the Velan ship, with her security team spread out behind her. They had split into 3 groups of 2. Her partner was a man named Kyungmin, who had been a wildlife handler before joining the space fleet. He carried a net and wore a small smile. "This reminds me of catching stray dogs back home," Kyungmin said. "Except smaller and in space." "Stay focused," Jiwoo replied. But she was smiling too. The whole situation felt absurd. They had prepared for combat, for real danger. Instead, they were hunting creatures that looked like they belonged in a pet store. A scratching sound came from a wall panel ahead. Ji-woo held up her hand, and the team stopped. She pointed at the panel. Kyungmin nodded and moved to one side, while she approached the other. "On 3, she whispered. 1, 2, 3. She pulled the panel open quickly. A small, furry creature looked up at them with wide eyes. It had been chewing on some wiring. When it saw the humans, it made a squeaking sound and tried to run. Kyungmin's net came down smoothly. The creature struggled for a second, then went still when it realized it couldn't escape. "Got one," Kyungmin said into his communicator. "No injuries to us or it. This thing is kind of cute, actually. Bag it and keep moving," Ji-woo ordered. 29 more to go. They placed the creature in a breathable bag designed for transporting animals. It curled up immediately and seemed to fall asleep. In another part of the ship, Sun-ho worked in what the Velans called their medical center. It looked nothing like a human hospital. Instead of beds, there were shallow pools filled with clear liquid. The wounded Velans floated in these pools. Their crystal plates looked cracked and dull. A Velan who introduced itself as Soft Rain worked beside Sun-ho. Soft Rain was a medical worker. Though the translator had trouble with the exact term, it watched with fascination and fear as Sun-ho examined the wounded. "Your hands are so large," Soft Rain observed. "How can you be precise?" Sun-ho carefully cleaned a wound on a Velan's arm. His movements were slow and controlled. "Practice. I've trained for many years. Here. This wound needs to be sealed. Do you have medical bonding agents?" Soft Rain produced a small bottle of clear liquid. Sun-ho applied it carefully, with a tool that looked too big for the delicate work. But somehow, he managed. The wound sealed perfectly. "You have touched 3 of our people now," Soft Rain said. "None have broken." "How?" "I'm being careful," Sun-ho replied. "I know you're fragile compared to me, so I adjust." "Do all humans have such control?" "Most of us. We have to. Human children are very fragile too. We learn to be gentle with weak things from a young age." He moved to the next patient. "This one has a puncture wound. It looks deep. The predator struck here," Soft Rain explained. "The claws went through the outer plating. Infection has started." Sun-ho examined the wound closely. To his experienced eye, it looked like a cat scratch. A bad one, but still just a scratch. He cleaned it carefully and applied antibiotics from his kit. "Will your medicine work on us?" Soft Rain asked. "We'll find out. It's broad spectrum, designed to work on many types of biology. If it doesn't help, it shouldn't hurt either." Sun-ho looked up at Soft Rain. "How did your people evolve without predators?" "Every species I know of had to fight to survive." Soft Rain's plates shifted to a soft green color. "Our world is peaceful. Few large creatures, no meat-eaters bigger than your thumb. We evolved in quiet places, in caves and calm forests. We learned to cooperate, to build, to think. We never needed to fight because nothing ever fought us." "That sounds nice," Sun-ho said honestly. "But it left you unprepared for this." "Yes." Soft Rain made a sad sound. "When we went to space, we found it was more dangerous than we imagined. But we are careful. We avoid danger. We trade with peaceful species only. These creatures, we were transporting them to a research station. They were sedated, locked away. We thought we were safe. What happened? Power failure in that section. The doors opened before we could fix it. By the time we knew what happened, they were already loose. We tried to contain them, but..." Soft Rain gestured at the wounded. "We are not built for this." Sun-ho finished with his patient and stood. His height made Soft Rain flinch back. He noticed and knelt down again. "I'm sorry. I forget how big I am to you. You are all so big, so strong. Even your medical worker has muscles that could crush us. What must your warriors be like?" Sun-ho thought about Ji-woo and her team. He thought about Earth's actual soldiers, the ones who trained for real combat. much stronger than me. But strength isn't always about fighting. Sometimes, it's about protecting. Meanwhile, Ji Woo and her teams were making quick progress. They had caught 15 creatures in the first hour. The animals weren't hard to find, once you knew what to look for. They left droppings and scratch marks. They made sounds when they moved. To humans with trained senses, they were easy to track. "I found a nest," one team member reported. A woman named Hanul spoke from a different section of the ship. "Looks like 5 or 6 in here. They're sleeping. Can you get them without waking them?" Jiwoo asked. "Already done. These things are heavy sleepers." Jiwoo shook her head in amazement. They were making it look easy because for them, it was easy. But she had seen the bodies of dead Velans. She had seen the fear in the survivors. To the Velans, these creatures were death itself. She found Whistling Bell watching them work from a safe distance. The Velan captain's plates kept shifting colors, cycling through what might have been emotions. "Your people are very efficient," Whistling Bell said. "Thank you," Jiwoo replied. "We should have all the creatures caught in another hour or 2. In my life, I have visited 17 different species. I have seen many strange things, but I have never seen anything like humans. Is that good or bad?" Whistling Bell made a sound like wind through crystals. "I have not decided yet. You walk through deadly situations without fear. You handle apex predators with your bare hands. You are gentle with us, but I can see the strength in your movements. You are." Contradictions. Jiwoo thought about how to respond. "Where we come from, we had to be both. Gentle enough to care for our young and our old. Strong enough to survive everything trying to kill us. Both skills were necessary. What kind of world creates such beings? A hard one. A deadly one." Jiwoo checked her scanner. Another creature was nearby, hiding in a ventilation shaft. "Excuse me. I have to catch another one." She moved to the vent and opened it. The creature inside hissed at her, showing small teeth. Jiwoo reached in quickly and grabbed it by the scruff of its neck, the way someone might grab a kitten. It squirmed but couldn't escape her grip. Whistling Bell made a sound of pure shock. "It tried to bite you." "Yeah, they do that when they're scared." Jiwoo examined the creature. "This one's just a baby. Probably only a few months old. That is a juvenile?" "It killed 2 of my crew members yesterday." Jiwoo looked at the small animal in her hand. It had stopped struggling and was looking at her with curious eyes. She couldn't imagine it killing anyone. But then she remembered how fragile the Velans were, how their bones were thin and their skin delicate. To them, even this baby was dangerous. "I'm sorry for your loss," she said sincerely. "I know this seems strange to us, but your fear is real and valid." Whistling Bell's plates turned a color Jiwoo hadn't seen before. A soft purple. "You understand that? Most species dismiss our fears. They call us weak. You're not weak. You're different. There's nothing wrong with evolving in a peaceful place." Jiwoo put the creature in a bag. "But you're lucky we found you. Most species wouldn't be able to help with this. Because they would fear the predators too? No. Because they wouldn't take your distress seriously. They would see these creatures and laugh. But we understand that danger is relative. What's harmless to us can be deadly to you." Taeho's voice came through the communicator. "Captain Dae-sung, I've found the problem with the life support. The main power coupling failed. These creatures chewed through it. I can fix it, but I need about 2 hours." "Do it," Dae-sung responded. "Everyone else, status report." One by one, the team checked in. Sun Ho had treated 15 wounded Velans. All were stable now. Jiwoo's teams had caught 23 creatures. Only 7 remained loose on the ship. Heejin had been studying the creatures they'd caught. Her voice was excited when she spoke. "Captain, these animals are fascinating. They're not naturally aggressive. They're actually quite social and intelligent. I think they were just scared and hungry. When the Velans tried to fight them, the creatures defended themselves. So this was all a misunderstanding?" Bo-Ra asked. In a way, yes. To the creatures, the Velans might have seemed like threats or prey. To the Velans, the creatures were monsters. Neither side understood the other. Dae Sung stood in the bridge of the Velan ship, looking at the gentle planet below. And then we arrived. Big enough to handle the creatures safely. Tough enough that they can't hurt us. Strong enough to help but willing to be gentle. We are very lucky you heard our call, Whistling Bell said from beside him. Very lucky indeed. Though I must ask, what will you do with the predators once you catch them all? Take them with us, Dae Sung said. Find them a proper home. Or keep them as research animals if Heejin wants. We won't hurt them. They're innocent in all this. Whistling Bell's plates shifted through several colors rapidly. You would keep them, even knowing what they are capable of? Dae Sung smiled. To us, they're not capable of much. They're just animals. Small, harmless animals. You truly do not fear them. No, Dae Sung said. We don't. And for the first time, Whistling Bell began to understand what kind of species had answered their distress call. 3 hours later, all 30 creatures were caught and secured in proper containment. The Velan ship's life support was fully repaired. Not a single Velan had died since the humans arrived. In the ship's largest gathering space, both species met for the first time in a less urgent situation. The room was beautiful. The walls were made of the same crystal material as the rest of the ship, but here they were carved with patterns that caught light and threw rainbows everywhere. About 30 Velans were present, all the ones healthy enough to move. They stayed together in a group, their crystal plates showing various shades of blue and green. The humans stood on the opposite side of the room. There were 8 of them total, including the captain. They tried to look non-threatening, which was difficult when they were twice the size of the Velans. Bo-Ra stepped forward. She had changed out of her environmental suit and now wore soft, flowing clothes in pale colors. She had thought carefully about her appearance. No sharp edges. No dark colors. Nothing that looked aggressive. Thank you for meeting with us, she said, her translator turning her words into musical tones. We're glad we could help. We're glad we could help. Whistling Bell moved forward from the Velan group. The captain's plates were now a steady blue, which their database said meant calm or formal mood. We are grateful beyond words. You saved our colony. You saved our lives. We owe you a debt we cannot repay. You don't owe us anything, Dae Sung said. We helped because it was the right thing to do. A murmur of sounds went through the Velan crowd. Their plates shifted colors. One Velan, smaller than the others, stepped forward, hesitantly. May I ask a question? It said. Of course, Bo-Ra replied gently. Why do you have such large teeth? Are they for tearing flesh? The humans looked at each other. Heejin answered. Yes, actually. Our species evolved as omnivores. We eat both plants and meat. The teeth help us chew different types of food. Another Velan spoke up. And your eyes? They face forward like a predator's eyes. Is that for hunting? Partly, Heejin admitted. Forward-facing eyes give us better depth perception. It helps us judge distances. Our ancestors needed that. To move through trees and to hunt. Yes, the Velans made sounds of nervousness. Their plates shifted toward red. Whistling Bell raised several arms in what might have been a calming gesture. Please, friends, do not be afraid. These humans have shown us only kindness. But they are predators, the small Velan said. Look at them, built for killing. How can we trust them? Jiwoo had been quiet until now, but she stepped forward. You're right. We are built for surviving. And yes, our ancestors hunted. But we also built civilizations. We created art and music. We learned to be more than our biology. Heijin pulled out her tablet. May I show you something? Whistling Bell gestured agreement. Heijin projected images in the air above her tablet. The first was a picture of Earth from space. This is our home world, she said. We call it Earth. The planet was beautiful. Blue oceans covered most of it. Green and brown land masses. White clouds swirled over everything. The Velans made sounds of appreciation. Then Heejin showed more images. A massive storm. Lightning splitting the sky. A volcano erupting, pouring lava down its sides. An earthquake tearing the ground apart. Huge waves crashing against cliffs. Our world is violent, Heejin explained. The weather can kill. The ground moves and shakes. Fire and water destroy regularly. She showed images of animals. A bear, huge and powerful. A lion with its teeth bared. A crocodile in water. A shark. An eagle with sharp talons. Hundreds of different predators. These are some of the creatures we evolved alongside, she continued. Each one deadly in its own way. Each one capable of killing a human easily. The Velan's plates were now pure white, which meant extreme shock or fear. How did you survive? Soft Rain asked. Surely, such a world would kill all life. It almost did, many times, Heijin said. But life on Earth is stubborn. We adapted. We evolved. We got smarter and stronger and more creative. We learned to use tools. We learned to work together. We learned to think our way out of danger when we couldn't fight our way out, Sun Ho added. And we learned to care for each other. In a dangerous world, cooperation is survival. We protect our weak. We heal our injured. We raise our children together. That's how we survived. Dae Sung pulled up his own images on his tablet. These showed human cities, buildings reaching toward the sky, parks filled with trees and gardens, children playing, people sitting together, talking, and laughing. We did more than survive, he said. We thrived. We built societies. We created beauty. We explored our world and learned its secrets. And when we finally left our planet and went to space, we brought all of that with us. The strength and the compassion. A Velan that hadn't spoken before made a thoughtful sound. This one's plates were darker and showed marks of age. The translator identified it as Elder Song, one of the colony's leaders. Your world made you hard, Elder Song observed, but it did not make you cruel. No, Bora said. Cruelty is a choice, not a requirement. Yes, we can be dangerous. But we choose not to be. We choose to help, instead of harm. Whistling Bell's plates shifted to a warm yellow color. You said you evolved as predators. But you are no longer just predators, are you? You have become something else. Kyung Min, who had been standing at the back, spoke up. We're survivors who became protectors. That's how I like to think of it. We survived the worst our planet could throw at us. Now we use that strength to protect others. Even those as weak as us? The small Velan asked, its tone almost challenging. Especially those as weak as you. Jiwoo said firmly. Protecting the strong is easy. Protecting the weak takes real strength. Not just physical strength, but strength of character. Elder Song moved closer to the humans. The other Velans made worried sounds, but the Elder ignored them. It stopped just a few feet from Dae Song and looked up at him. I am very old, Elder Song said. I have seen much in my long life. I have met many species. Some were kind but weak. Others were strong but cruel. Never have I met a species that was both strong and kind in equal measure. We try our best, Dae Sung said simply. May I see your hand? Elder Song asked. Slowly, carefully. Dae Sung held out his hand. It was large and strong, with calluses from years of work. Elder Song reached out, with one delicate crystal arm, and touched Dae Sung's palm. The touch was feather-light. This hand could crush me easily, Elder Song said. Yet it is gentle. You are gentle. All of you. The elder turned to look at the other Velens. These beings frighten us because they are so different from us. But fear should not blind us to truth. They saved us. They could have taken our ship, enslaved us, killed us. They did none of these things. They asked for nothing. They simply helped. Whistling Bell's plates turned to bright gold. Elder Song speaks truth. We judged these humans by their appearance. We saw predators and assumed the worst. We were wrong. Soft Rain moved forward now too. I worked with Sunho in the medical center. I watched him treat our wounded. His hands are so large, his strength so great. But he was more gentle than any Velen doctor. He could have hurt us easily. He chose not to. Quote, more Velens began to speak, their musical voices overlapping. The ones who had seen Jiwoo catch the creatures. The ones who had watched Taeho repair their ship. Each one sharing what they had observed. Finally, the small Velen who had been most afraid spoke again. I apologize. I judged you wrongly. You are not monsters. You are. I do not know the word. Friends? Bora suggested. We would like to be friends. If you'll let us. The small Velen's plates turned a soft pink color. Yes. Friends. That is a good word. Whistling Bell made a sound like bells ringing. Then let us be friends properly. Let me tell you about our people, and you can tell us more about yours. For the next several hours, the two species talked. The Velens explained their history. They had evolved on a moon orbiting a gas giant. The moon had light gravity and a thick atmosphere that filtered out dangerous radiation. There were few predators and plenty of food. Life was peaceful. They developed technology slowly but steadily. They never invented weapons because they never needed them. When they reached space, they were shocked by how dangerous it was. They met other species and learned that most of the galaxy had evolved from conflict. The Velens were unusual, maybe unique, in their peaceful origin. They became traders because that's what they were good at. They could go places other species couldn't. Their ships were efficient and beautiful. They asked little and caused no trouble. Other species tolerated them, sometimes protected them, because they were useful and harmless. The humans shared their own history. Earth's violence, the ice ages and disasters, the millions of years of evolution that shaped them, their wars and their art, their cruelty and their compassion. They didn't hide the bad parts. They were honest about humanity's capacity for violence. But we've learned, Daesung said. We've grown. We're still learning. Still growing. We're not perfect, but we're trying to be better. As the conversation continued, Hanul brought in one of the captured creatures. It was sleeping peacefully in her arms. Some Velens flinched back, but others leaned forward curiously. This is what scared you, Hanul said gently. I understand why. But look at it now. Calm. Safe. Not a monster. Just an animal. Elder Song approached slowly. May I touch it? Of course. Hanul held the sleeping creature steady. Elder Song reached out one delicate arm and brushed the creature's fur. It made a small sound in its sleep, but didn't wake. The Elder's plates shifted through a rainbow of colors. So soft, Elder Song said in wonder. I never got close enough to feel before. I only knew them as death. Context changes everything, Heejin said. In the right context, anything can be scary. In another context, it can be harmless, or even beautiful. Whistling Bell looked at the humans with what might have been understanding. You are our context then. You make the dangerous safe. You make the impossible possible. You are Deathworlders, but you use your death strength for life. Daesung smiled. I've never heard it put quite that way. But yes, I suppose that's what we are. 2 days later, both ships orbited the planet below. The world was beautiful, covered in soft grasses and gentle forests. The air was breathable for Velans, without any equipment. The gravity was perfect for them. It was, in their words, a paradise world. For humans, it was boring. The gravity was too light. The air was too thin. There were no mountains worth climbing, no storms to test against, no real challenges at all. But the humans didn't complain. This wasn't their world. They were just here to help. Dae-sung stood in the cargo bay of the Gentle Drift, watching his crew work. They were helping the Velans prepare their colony equipment. Large containers held everything needed to start a settlement: seeds for crops, building materials, medical supplies. The humans lifted boxes that would have required machines for the Velans to move. Whistling Bell worked beside him, directing Velan workers with musical commands. "You make this look so easy," the Velan captain observed. "What took us hours, you do in minutes." "Different strengths," Dae-sung replied. "You're better at other things. Your ship's navigation system is more advanced than ours. Your translation technology is smoother. You have skills we lack, perhaps. But in the moment of crisis, it is strength that matters." Dae-sung looked at the Velan captain thoughtfully. "You have strength, just a different kind. You survived in space for weeks with those creatures loose. A less organized species would have panicked and died. You stayed calm, did what you could, and called for help. That took courage." Whistling Bell's plates shifted to a modest blue. Bo-Ra approached, holding her tablet. "Captain, the Velan Council has sent a message. They want to speak with us formally. They're calling it a treaty discussion." "Already?" Dae-sung was surprised. "They move quickly when needed," Whistling Bell explained. "We are a practical people. You saved our colony. You have shown yourselves to be honorable. Why wait to formalize friendship?" Every important to then. An hour later, the human crew gathered in the Gentle Drift's conference chamber. The room was oval-shaped with walls that glowed softly. 12 Velans were present, including Elder Song and Whistling Bell. They represented the colony's leadership. Elder Song spoke first. "Humans of Earth, you came when we called. You risked yourselves for strangers. You asked nothing in return. This is rare in the galaxy. Most species trade favor for favor. But you simply helped. And this, Mennerly, that's what good people do," Bo-Ra said. "Yes. And so we wish to offer something in return. Not payment. Because this is not a transaction. But friendship. And all that friendship means." Another Velan, one called Clear Thought, continued. "We propose an alliance. The Velans will share our technology, our trade connections, our knowledge. In return, we ask for your protection. Not as servants or slaves, but as friends, protecting friends." Dae-sung looked at his crew. They nodded. He turned back to the Velans. "We accept your friendship. But you should know, we can't stay here forever. We have our own missions, our own explorations." "We understand," Whistling Bell said. "But you could visit regularly. You could help us establish defenses. You could train some of us in basic security. And if we face danger again, we could call you. Like a mutual defense pact," Jiwoo said. "We help you when you're in danger. You help us with information and resources when we need it." "Exactly." Clear Thought agreed. Heijin leaned forward. "I have a question. You mentioned other species earlier. How will they react to humans? We're clearly very different from most species you've met." The Velans made sounds among themselves. Finally, Elder Song spoke. "That is a concern. The galaxy is large. There are thousands of species, most evolved from peaceful origins like us. Some are stronger, some weaker, but few are as strong as you. None that I know of evolved in such deadly conditions. So we're unique, Sunho said. Frighteningly so, Elder Song admitted. When we send news of you to the wider galaxy, there will be reactions. Some species will want to meet you. Others will fear you. A few might see you as threats. Or opportunities, Jiwoo added darkly. There are always those who see the strong as tools to be used. Whistling Bell's plates turned orange. Which meant agreement. Yes. There are mercenary species. Warlord species. They might try to hire you, or test you, or even fight you. Let them try, Kyungmin said. Then he noticed everyone looking at him. Sorry. Old military instincts. Dae-sung thought carefully before speaking. We don't want to fight. That's not why we came to space. We came to explore, to learn, to make friends, but we'll defend ourselves if we must, and we'll defend our friends. Even friends as weak as us? The small Velen from before asked. Its name was Bright Hope, and it had become less afraid of the humans over the past days, especially friends as weak as you, Bora said firmly. Bullies always pick on the weak. We don't like bullies. Elder Song made a sound like crystal chimes in wind. Then we are agreed, an alliance of friendship. We will tell the galaxy about you. We will speak of your strength. Yes, but also your kindness. We will make sure others know what we know. Humans are Deathworlders, but they are good Deathworlders. Is that really what you're going to call us? Taeho asked. Deathworlders. Deathworlders. It is accurate, Whistling Bell said. Your world would kill most species in minutes. You survived it. You mastered it. You are Deathworlders, death survivors, death conquerors. I guess it does, Dae-sung admitted. Though it sounds scarier than we mean to be. Oh, the treaty was formalized over the next hour. It was surprisingly simple. The Velens would share information and technology. The humans would provide security advice and respond to emergency calls when possible. Both species would treat each other with respect and friendship. No one was obligated to do anything that violated their values. A treaty based on trust, Bora said as she signed the document on her tablet. That's rare. Trust is all we have to offer, Elder Song replied. We have no weapons to threaten you with. No power to force you. Only trust. And hope that you will honor it. We will. Dae-sung promised. After the formal business was done, the real work began. Jiwoo spent hours teaching Velen security personnel basic defense tactics. She had to modify everything for their fragile bodies and peaceful natures. You can't fight like humans, she explained to a group of Velens. Your bodies won't allow it. But you can use tools, barriers, deterrents. You can make yourselves harder to catch, harder to corner. You can buy time for help to arrive. One Velen asked. What if help doesn't arrive? Jiwoo was quiet for a moment. Then you run. You hide. You survive any way you can. There's no shame in survival. Taeho worked with Velon engineers, improving their security systems. He showed them how to make stronger doors, better alarms, more robust containment fields. The Velens were quick learners, and their questions were intelligent. Hyjin spent time with Velen scientists, sharing information about Earth biology. They were both fascinated and horrified by her descriptions. When she showed them a video of a human child playing with a dog, they couldn't believe it. That beast could kill the child easily, one scientist said. The dog? No. It's been bred for thousands of years to be gentle with humans. Dogs are our companions, our friends. Many humans love their dogs more than they love other humans. You domesticated predators? We domesticated lots of things. Cats, horses, even some birds. We're good at making friends with animals. Well, we locked. On the third day, it was time to establish the colony on the surface. The humans helped load transport shuttles with equipment. They flew down to the planet and helped set up the first structures. It was hard work, but the humans made it look easy. A group of Velen children watched from a safe distance as Hanul and Kyungmin erected a large shelter. The structure was heavy and awkward. The two humans lifted it, adjusted it, and locked it into place without any machines. One child, braver than the others, approached Hanul. Its plates were bright yellow with curiosity. It held out a small crystal that had been carved into the shape of a flower. "For you," the child said in a small voice. "Thank you for helping us." Hanul knelt down, making herself smaller. She took the crystal flower carefully. "Thank you. This is beautiful. I'll keep it safe." The child's plates turned pink with happiness. It reached out and touched Hanul's hand, just for a second. Then it ran back to the other children, making excited sounds. Elder Song watched this exchange from nearby. It approached Hanul. "That child was more afraid of you than anyone. Yesterday, it refused to be in the same room as humans. Today, it gives you gifts." "Children adapt quickly," Hanul said. "They learn who to trust." "Yes, and that child has learned you are safe." That evening, both crews gathered on the planet's surface for a meal. The Velens ate their food, which looked like colorful gelatin to the humans. The humans ate rations from their ship. They sat together under the alien sky, two species sharing space and time. Bright Hope approached Dae-sung shyly. "Captain, may I ask you something?" "Of course. When you first saw us, when you saw how weak we were." Dae-sung considered the question seriously. "No. I thought about how different you were. But different isn't less. You've survived in space. You've built ships and societies. You've created beauty and knowledge. That's not weak. That's impressive. But we cannot fight. We cannot defend ourselves. Fighting isn't the only strength that matters. You're kind. You're intelligent. You work together. You create, instead of destroy. Those are strengths too. Maybe better strengths than physical power." Bright Hope's plates shifted through several colors. "You really believe that?" "I do. Where we come from, we have a saying. The strongest person isn't the one who can hurt the most. It's the one who can protect the most. And you protect each other. You care for your weak. You share with those who have less. That's real strength. Also, Obian sighed. When Reckling, Obian sighed. Obian sighed. When with that Workling, from so. When Workling sighed, later, as the ships prepared to leave orbit, Whistling Bell stood with Dae-sung on the bridge of the gentle drift. They looked at the colony below. Small lights were beginning to appear as the Velens activated their new settlement. "You're leaving tomorrow," Whistling Bell said. "Yes. We have other places to explore. But we'll be back. And if you need us before then, just call. We'll come. The galaxy will know about humans soon." "Are you ready for that?" Dae-sung smiled. "Probably not. But we'll adapt. That's what we do. Some will fear you. Yes. Some will try to use you. They can try. Some will try to fight you." Dae-sung's smile faded. "We don't want to fight. But if we must, we will. And we'll win." Whistling Bell's plates turned gold. "That is what makes you truly frightening. Not your strength, not your Deathworld origin, but your certainty. You know what you are. You know what you can do. And you do not doubt." "We've earned that certainty," Dae-sung said quietly. "Millions of years of surviving the impossible. It teaches you what you're capable of." The next morning, the Taeguk Pioneer detached from the gentle drift. The human crew stood on their bridge, looking at the Velen ship one last time. The Velens were safe now. Their colony was established. The friendship was forged. "So," Taeho said from his station, "we're Space Orcs now. That's what they're going to call us, isn't it? The scary species that everyone's afraid of. Scary Space Orcs who do rescue missions," Hejin corrected with a smile. Jiwoo laughed. "I've been called worse." Dae-sung sat in his captain's chair and looked at the stars ahead. Let them call us what they want. Let them be afraid if they need to be. We know who we are. We're humans. We're survivors. We're explorers. And now, we're friends. To those who need friends. We're friends. Bo-ra looked thoughtful. The galaxy is going to change when they learn about us. Are we ready for that? No, Dae-sung admitted. But when has that ever stopped us? The Taeguk pioneer jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving the Velans behind but carrying their friendship forward. Behind them, in the colony, Elder Song watched the human ship vanish into the stars. What kind of species are they? Bright Hope asked the Elder. Elder Song's plates shifted through many colors before settling on silver, which meant deep thought. They are Deathworlders. They are predators. They are strong beyond our understanding. But most importantly, they are good. They choose kindness when they could choose cruelty. They use their strength to protect, not harm. They are proof that deadly doesn't mean evil. Will others understand that? Some will, others won't. But the humans will show them, just as they showed us. One rescue at a time, one friendship at a time. They will teach the galaxy that the scariest monsters can be the best protectors. In space, the news was already spreading. Signals traveled between star systems. Traders talked. Information brokers sold data. Within days, a dozen species knew about humans. Within weeks, hundreds. Within months, the entire galactic community would know. Humans had arrived in the galaxy. Deathworlders from a planet that should have killed them. Strong enough to crush, gentle enough to heal. Scary enough to fear, kind enough to love. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, the Taeguk pioneer flew on, searching for the next adventure, ready to help whoever needed help, ready to be the terrifying protectors that the peaceful species had always needed but never had. The humans had arrived, and they were here to help.